have reading ready today. Today being Thursday, April 2nd. Today in reading, we want to remind you your book report on Maple Tree is due tomorrow. After tomorrow, I'll finish with the book report for Maple Tree. You can put Maple Tree away. And those of you that have already sent it in, thank you. Good job. Reading today in Brightside, we're going to read pages 79 through 83 together. And your assignment will be reading pages 84 to 86 and answering the questions on page 86 on your own. Okay? So reading assignments a little lighter today and tomorrow. Get those book reports done. And then we'll be able to move on from that on Monday. Okay? All right. And we will start adding in some more of our worksheets, the reading worksheets that are copied for you in your handout, in your packet. We'll start doing some of those one, a day. And it'll be on your little assignment sheet, the ones that you'll need. Okay? All right, so let's start on page 79. You were reading the lyrics of I Sing the Mighty Power of God. So let's look at the questions. Number 1, name the parts of God's creation that were mentioned in the first stanza. Name the parts. The mountains, the seas, the sky, the moon, the sun, and the stars. Okay? So if you jot those down, if you need to pause, if you've not had a chance to do them yet, please feel free to do so and you can write those down. But you can see that he referenced all those parts in the first stanza. Number 2, what are the author's thoughts about God? So this is kind of your interpretation, not exactly confined it in the reading. This is a little star beside it, means your interpretation. What are the author's thoughts about God? You could have any of these things here, that God is powerful. He created everything. He is wise. And he rules over us. You could have had any of those there. But he is acknowledging all of those pieces of God, all of those elements of God in his song. Number 3, now this one is, yes, okay. Number 3, is the author correct in his thinking? Yes, he is. I mean, our Bible tells us that God is the creator. He's powerful. He's omnipresent, which means he's everywhere. He knows everything. So yes, he is correct based on the Bible. Good job. So let's turn to page 80. Page 80. All because of an all. Okay. Page 80, a biography at the top, dig deeper, is a true story of someone's life, but written by another person. An autobiography is a true story, we've talked about this, of a person's life that was written by the person himself. Look carefully to discover if this true story about Louis Braille is a biography or an autobiography. There'll be a clue, a big clue. Words to watch for: Braille, familiar, rearranging, immediately, all, a small pointed tool for making holes in leather or wood. So if you just quickly look at the bottom of page 81, that's that tool right there. You see, it almost looks like a screwdriver kind of. It's got the handle to the top, and it's long and pointed. But instead of a screwdriver has a flat, sometimes flat where you put it and turn, this is a pointed, sharp pointed end. So you would put it into a piece of leather and hit it, and it would make a hole through the leather. Okay. Yeah, so we can see that was a dangerous tool to have around. All right. All Because of an All by Dolores Shimen. Let me get us a reader here. See who we Abby. Hey, Abby. Those owls are turned over. I don't know who I'm picking, but I know you're always ready to read. So if you could read that first paragraph for us there on page 80, we're going to read through page 83 together. Braille. Mm-hmm. Good, thank you. As Louis grew, his sparkling blue eyes missed nothing, and he found many interesting things for a boy to do. Louis especially liked the times he spent playing in the harness shop while his father was working. His father gave him scraps of leather, which the little boy enjoyed arranging and rearranging. Sometimes he pretended they were cows in a pasture. Other times they were soldiers marching in straight lines. Let me grab another reader here. Aiden. Hey, Aiden. Hope you're having a good day. If you could read page 81, One Bright. Forbidden to play with. Yes, what does that mean? He wasn't allowed to touch it, right? I'm sure there are some things in your home that your parents say, don't mess with that. You cannot, that is not for you. And this was something that he was forbidden to touch. Louis tried to punch a hole in a scrap of leather, but the leather was tough, and the awl would not go through. Louis pushed harder. The awl slipped and pierced his eye. Oh, Louis's injured eye became infected. Then things began to look blurry through his other eye. One morning, Louis could hear the birds singing outside while it was still dark. It would always be dark for Louis now. He was blind. Let me pick us another reader for that next paragraph. Chloe. Hey, Chloe. If you could read at first, just one paragraph. Thank you, Chloe. When Louis was 5 years old, a new pastor moved to the village. That was the beginning of a strong friendship. Louis spent many hours listening to his new friend tell stories. Through these stories, Louis learned about the stars, the many animals, and how plants grow. He also listened to stories about kindness, obedience, and courage, stories Louis would never forget. At the age of 7, Louis walked every morning to the village school with his cousin. Louis was soon at the top of most of his classes. In arithmetic, he often could work a problem in his head as fast as the other students could work it on paper. But during reading and writing, Louis had nothing to do. Are there no books for me to read? He asked sadly. Page 83. When he was 10 years old, Louis left the village to go to a school for blind children. He was going to learn to read, but again he was disappointed. The reading was from books that had raised print. Each letter was raised from the page so that it could be felt with the fingers. Each letter was so large that only a few words could fit on a page. By the time Louis had figured out all of the letters, he often had forgotten the beginning of the sentence. You choose a reader. Kylie. Hey, Kylie, if you could read on page 83, We Need. Thank you, Kylie. Only God knows the answer, replied Lewis's pastor. Trust him. One day, a captain in the army came to the school. He told how he could send secret messages at night by making dots and dashes on paper. This is it, thought Lewis. I can make an alphabet code with dots. Lewis worked every spare minute on the new alphabet. Everywhere he went, he had paper and a dull awl for punching dots, not a sharp one. He made 6 dots. Then he made every letter from these same 6 dots. Okay, your assignment now is to start here at page 84 and read through page 86 and answer the questions on page 86. Okay, and we'll start with a review of this tomorrow, and then we will pick up into Taylor's Mountain Vacation. Okay, so again, your assignment is finish out the reading, making sure you're answering your questions, that you're going back and continue to practice going back and finding your answers, okay? Remember, what we don't use, we lose. So let's continue that practice. When you finish, please work on your book report, okay? Make sure that's turned in to me. It's due tomorrow, front and back, okay? So our next subject will be language.